Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Bernie here, bringing you yet another video here in The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And guys, before we get started on to today's fixer-upper on the Atlanta Hawks and how we can bring their culture back to Atlanta in terms of basketball, go and hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Go and check out our other videos we have here on the channel. We have, of course, videos talking about the Skylar Diggins situation with Harrison Barnes. We also have the video talking about our other fixer-uppers. Can the Utah Jazz get to the NBA Finals? And also, can Brandon Ingram become an NBA superstar? But right now, like I said, we got to talk about Atlanta. And when we think about Atlanta, Georgia, it's a fast and growing city. But the thing that's not fast and growing is the fandom of the Atlanta Hawks itself. I feel like there's a lot more Lakers fans in Atlanta. There's more of other out-of-market fans than anything else, but it's confusing to me because when I watch on TV the stadium atmosphere, the arena atmosphere I should say, of the organist, the PA announcer, the Migos celebrate the Atlanta Hawks, there's just not that many Hawks fans, and it sucks to see because I feel Atlanta, like I said, is a fast and growing city. And when I see them not celebrate the Atlanta Hawks or any of their sports teams, I know they celebrate the Falcons, but when they don't celebrate the Hawks, it's just sad to see because I know that the Atlanta Hawks in the next couple of years, maybe 4 to 5, could be a special team in terms of being a great playoff team. We don't know about NBA Finals, but playoff team, I think that they can become in maybe, like 4 to 5 years. So let's look at the thing that they need to work on. Of course, the 2018-2019 is over and done with in terms of moves that they can make. Obviously, they lost their Hall of Fame player in Carmelo Anthony. It sucks to see that he went a Hall of Fame legend type of player. Very coveted player in Atlanta. His jerseys have been worn by many, and I know that he's going to get a special edition jersey sent to him by the Atlanta Hawks themselves. So now that you've lost your Hall of Fame legend in Carmelo Anthony, let's look at the rest of the team in terms of what players are going to be gone next year, 2019-2020. Some of those players include Jeremy Lin and Dwayne Dedmon, who are going to be 31 and 30 respectively. The real question is for Jeremy Lin, do you keep him or do you let him go? At 31 years old, I think you let him go, let him join a championship contending team, because I don't think he's really going to do that much for you in terms of giving you notoriety and anything like that, because by the time he was from Linsanity, right now he's kind of fallen off a little bit as he's been kind of more of a journeyman, back to where he started at the beginning, was become a journeyman. He went from the Knicks to Houston to Charlotte to Brooklyn to Lakers. I mean, he's been everywhere, and now that he's here in Atlanta, I think it's time for him to get a fresh restart. Once his contract is done, get on a championship contending team, help them out with the points scoring off the bench, and maybe you have something special in Jeremy Lin. So I think getting rid of him, that slides Trae Young to the starting position, because I know in 2018-2019, according to ESPN, they have Jeremy Lin at the starting one position. Now, Dwayne Dedmon is a different story. I think he's been a serviceable center, and I think you can keep him because when we look at the free agency class for 2019, there's nobody, really. I mean, the only person is Enes Kanter, but I feel like he's not going to come to Atlanta. And the Atlanta Hawks have to expect this. And, of course, the fans I'm talking to, you can't expect the superstars to come. You can't expect Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, or Kevin Durant to come to Atlanta because the culture's not there right now. If the basketball culture was there, I think they would come in a heartbeat. I think there would be a 3-man team in Atlanta if the culture was there. I know the Migos are doing their best to kind of get more people involved in Atlanta Hawks basketball, but it's going to be a little bit, especially let's see where Trae Young's at, because I know that Quavo's a really big fan of Trae Young, so we have to wait on him. So when we look at what the Atlanta Hawks need to upgrade, I think shooting guard, because I haven't watched that much of Kevin Huerter, and I don't really know that much because I don't watch Maryland basketball as much. So the one position I think that they should upgrade is the shooting guard position. And I think Contavious Caldwell-Pope, a guy that can score at will, gets you good, decent points off the bench. I think he's a guy that could easily be a great fit for the Atlanta Hawks going further. Another player I would add is just because I like him so much, and that's Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he's a very most underrated point guard in the league right now. I think his game is so fluid. It's so nice. I think he's a great serviceable point guard. So if you want to move Spencer Dinwiddie to the 1 and Trae Young to the 2, I think that will help out perfectly because we saw in the tournament and at Oklahoma, when he has to carry the offense all on his own, he tires out easily. So by having Spencer Dinwiddie there, it brings one less thing for Trae Young to do, and that's, of course, move up the ball, move it, passing it. Even though Trae Young's best assets are, of course, his playmaking and his shooting, if you can just take away the dribbling in terms of, going by people and having him create opportunities for other people by not getting so tired as much, I think Spencer Dinwiddie or Contavious Caldwell-Pope can do that for you. And we also have to realize that the Atlanta Hawks have $62 million in cap space next year, so and the cap is at 109, so they're gonna have a lot of room to play with in terms of adding, some good, nice role players. But one thing is for certain, the Atlanta Hawks have to not get anybody over the age of 27 or 28. Because when you get players that old, they're not going to help you in the next 4 years. I think you want to get a young team, see what they can do. So I think with Spencer Dinwiddie at 26, with Contavious Caldwell-Pope at 26, those are the guys in the 20s, young 20s are the guys you really should be looking at, even though a lot of these guys are going to be a lot older in terms of who's going to be in the free agency market, because that's how it works. There's barely any guys in the age of 26 that are going to be in there. So I think the Atlanta Hawks right now, like I said, you need to look younger. And of course, there are some people that are restricted free agents, but I'm sure they'll get signed. Kristaps Porzingis is a guy I think, if New York doesn't want him, that's something there. But of course, New York's going to draft him. So I think it's ridiculous to look at the restricted free agents unless it's, we get breaking news that they're not going to re-sign him. So the real question is, what do the Atlanta Hawks have to do? Because I think the draft is where they're going to be more effective. Now, when we talk about their draft picks, and the one thing I forgot to mention, of course, before we get on to their draft picks, is the Kent Bazemore situation. He's going to be a player option next year. I think he's going to decline that. But the guy from USA Today's Rocket Wire, Kelly Iko, talked about a possible trade rumor, and that's, of course, Ryan Anderson, rookie DeAnthony Melton, and the 2019 first-round pick for Kent Bazemore. If I'm the Atlanta Hawks, I do that because Bazemore has a player option next year. He's going to decline it, so why lose anything for him when you can get something for him? So I think that's a move that I could see them making right away. Now, moving back to the draft, they're going to have their own 2019 first-round pick. They're going to have the Cavs pick, which is top 10 protected. What's the likelihood that the Cavs are going to be in the top 10? Somewhat likely, but I think, in my opinion, I think they could be somewhere from 11 to 15. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think they are, but they're definitely not going to be as good. The Dallas Maverick pick, of course, is top 5 protected. Can Luka Doncic, can Dennis Smith Jr. get him past the top 5 protected? I'm not sure. I feel like there's a lot to overcome, even with DeAndre Jordan there, who's a great asset and supposedly was supposed to join a couple years back until the Clippers did their thing. But I feel like the Atlanta Hawks are going to have their own pick and the Cavs pick, which is going to be 11 to 15. So when we look at that, what moves could they possibly make in this draft? One thing is for certain, they're rumored to get Nazir Little, and this is, of course, according to NBADraft.net. I've also seen people say Zion Williamson is going to be the number 4 pick, Sekou Doumbia, and also RJ Barrett, along with Cameron Reddish as well. There's a lot of guys in this draft that I feel like are going to be great assets to the Atlanta Hawks. But if I'm the Atlanta Hawks, I want to make a big name. I want to make a splashy move. I want to get Zion Williamson. His athleticism, his power, his strength, everything about Zion screams box office to me. I know that a lot of people compared him to LeBron James when he was coming out of high school. To me, he's more like Charles Barkley. I feel like he just has that undersized at, 6'6", 6'7", as a power forward. I feel like he's more athletic than Charles Barkley, and I feel like he might be on the same level in terms of shooting, but I feel like Zion Williamson can become a better shooter. So I think Zion Williamson is the move that the Atlanta Hawks should make to try and spicing up their team, bring the culture back in, because if you bring him in, I feel like a lot more Atlanta Hawks fans will come because they'll see one of the greatest, high school, college sensations to come out of Duke, goes to Atlanta, helps them become a championship winning basketball team. Now, when we also talk about their 11 to 13, they could potentially get another guy in terms of Bol, Jonte Porter, Rui Hachimura. No, I mean, Rui Hachimura is a little bit iffy because I feel like he might go top 10. But one guy I think they should look at, especially because Dwayne Dedmon's age, is, of course, Jonte Porter and Bol. I don't really know that much about Jonte Porter, but I know a little bit about Bol as I watched him a little bit because our team had a basketball camp in Oregon. He, to me, is an interesting character because I think with him, his defense is great, but he's just a step too slow. I think he needs to work on his mobility. He's not that mobile yet. Obviously, I watched him when he just came into Oregon. He just flew in there. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if he can become that guy that everyone talked about. Maybe 10 years ago, he would have been a top 2 pick. But I think Bol has the athleticism, the size, the strength to really become a future star player in this league. Superstar, I'm not sure about, but definitely a star player for his size and wingspan. I mean, he has like a 7'8" wingspan, for Christ's sakes. That is really good, and I think he will bring something to the Atlanta Hawks. Both him and Zion will bring star attraction names. I think that's what the GM of the Atlanta Hawks wants to do because he is a former Golden State Warrior GM. I think he wants to bring the Splash Brothers to the Atlanta Hawks, but I think he wants to do it in his own way with adding guys like Zion Williamson and also adding guys like Bol could potentially do that. And that's what I think is interesting about the Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, they are that plot of land where you can envision what you want in this house. Whether you want the 3-story house, the 2-story house with this huge backyard. I think that a lot of people are going to be wanting to come to Atlanta. And if the Atlanta Hawks are going to win in the next 4 to 5 years in terms of getting into the playoffs, you can attract those superstars that you didn't attract back here in 2019. Maybe in those next couple of years, you can get the big name superstars that are coming off the books. That would be my suggestion for the Atlanta Hawks. But I want to know what you guys think of my suggestions. Do you guys agree with what I think about what they should do in free agency? Do you guys agree with the draft picks that I picked out for them? What do you guys think of the draft right now in terms of the 2019 draft? Who's your favorite player in it and why? And also, is Michael Porter Jr. going to take over Frank Kaminsky in the lasagna eating debate? It's been a debate on this channel for a long time, and I want to know your guys' opinion here right now. But anyway, guys, this has been your boy Bernie here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions, talking about the fixer-upper. Can the culture come back to Atlanta basketball? We'll just have to wait and see. I think it's going to be interesting, especially if Trae Young can develop the way I think he will. I think there's no doubt that the culture of Atlanta basketball and just basketball in Atlanta will finally be something where a lot of people will become Hawks fans again. Anyway, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, go and check out the other fixer-uppers, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.